Well, hello everyone. It's Tuesday afternoon. What's the title of it?
Who is there to awaken and to what?
Oh, who's there to awaken and to what? Hmm. In the world of who, there's only one. Me. In the what? There appear to be many, but there aren't any. Yeah. So I wanted to read something if no one has. Do you ever hear of it's a famous sort of sutra poem called Faith Mind? Have you ever heard of it? No? Oh, then I'm going to read it. It's very beautiful. It's short also,
I've
which is
heard.
quite
Can you remind who was the author again? I've heard of it. I don't.
many of them, but this is a translations, Richard Clark.
Well,
Supposedly they just made up somebody. It's like the third patriarch, but yeah,
okay,
it could
okay,
have been
well,
Sal, the guy who owns the deli down the road. You never know.
even
So here,
better.
I'm gonna just read it. So it's called Faith Mind. It was out a long time ago. But the translation I'm reading is the one I was familiar with, by a guy named Richard Clark. And then see what comes up, when we're reading it. So the great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. Is there a who that has no preferences? Or is the who and preferences synonymous? Yeah. So you've already blown it. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. So the great way is going to be difficult for you. Yeah, is it? It's saying it's going to be difficult if you have preferences. Yeah. Now the head has preferences, but are you the head? No. So if this was a test, we would fail immediately. But if you answered it with, I'm not that which has preferences, you will succeed, my grasshopper. Yeah, it's simple. Check out the logic. All right. So the great way is not difficult, period. For those who have no preferences. When love and hate are both absent, everything becomes clear and undisguised. Yep. Now, for many of us, I would think we would fail this test. Yeah, because right after you read that, you would feel love, let's say, for your cat and hate for your talking parrot. Yes. So you would have love and hate right away, and then you would go back to this, and you would realize love and hate aren't absent, and then therefore everything is cloudy and disguised. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's what's so beautiful is that which cannot not have preferences is not you. You see, this is what used to stump me in spirituality. When you got to the second phase, you stood out like a big, thick thumb. And it was like, oh, some people believe for you to have peace of mind, there'd have to be no thought. When do people, when they attend to mind, not have a thought or seem to have a thought? Yeah. So you were set to fail, which is beautiful, because then when you're standing as that which has failed and you negate it by seeing I'm not that, there you go. Then at that moment, the great way is not difficult. Yeah. It's only when you inject the who that it becomes difficult. Yes? Now we can't not inject the who. So when it says as a who, can you give up all your preferences? Wouldn't that be a preference? You can't pass the test. That's the whole point. So now you're sticking out like a sore thumb, and then you recognize I'm not that. Yeah. Yeah. If you read like a newspaper article, it doesn't do the same thing that these things do. These little sutras bring out what you're not so that you can see them. Yes? It does. So here, the great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. When love and hate are both absent, everything becomes clear and undisguised. Okay? So who is actually the unclear and the disguised? It's when you appear, then there's unclear, and there's the disguise. Yeah, you are the disguise, so to speak. Yeah. Make the smallest distinction, however, and heaven and earth are set infinitely apart. You failed that one, too. So now, if you're sitting there in a second, the next second, you may make a distinction between this second and the second before. What? Bing, you are off the game board again. You'd just be ejected out of the whole thing. And heaven and earth are set infinitely apart. Yeah. But what if you're not that which makes small or large distinctions? What if you were not that makes small and large distinctions? The small and large distinctions would not disqualify you from anything. Yeah? They would not disqualify you from the great way. You see the efficiency of negation? Because you're not going to stop thinking as that which is of thought. Yeah? But if you're not that which is thinking, that's the way you stop thinking. It doesn't mean the thinking stops. Yes? But there's a stop in the thinking. Yes? Because you just see the thinking and not the thinker. Because you don't see the thinker. You see thoughts. You never see the thinker unless you go to the mirror and look at the body, because you've claimed the body to be you. But you never see the thinker amongst the thoughts, do you? There's just thoughts. And one of the big thoughts is a thinker. You're a thinker. You don't see it. Yeah. So in this way, all these distinctions, all these thoughts, and that which is triggered by distinctions and thoughts, how is that which triggers the distinctions and thoughts, and the thoughts and distinctions reinforce that which is triggered? How is it going to stop? How is it going to get out of distinctions and thoughts? It isn't. Great. Fantastic news. Look at it. Look at it. Its spiritual pants have fallen. You've seen the emperor with no clothes. Fantastic. Yes? So now the great way is not difficult, period. Yeah. If you wish to see the truth, then hold no opinion for or against. Good luck with that, eh? As a who? Give me a break. I'm walking around with no opinion for or against. The whole thing is a walking opinion for and against. Opinion for and against is the main thread of your foundational cloth, so to speak. Yes. So if you wish to see the truth, who wants to see the truth? Actually, I'd rather see from the truth, but let's go with the translation. Who wants to see the truth? Everybody. Then hold no opinion for or against. I better give up that wanting to know the truth, because I cannot seem to give up opinions for or against. Hallelujah. You're not that which cannot give up opinions. Do you see it? We're adding a step that actually uses the inherent failure of you getting it to be the success. Yeah. Go there to that altar of earnestness and put all your desires and stuff on it, and just let it admit that those desires and stuff are actually the obstruction of it. See it in all its glory and recognize it as not you. Why? Yes, I haven't gone any far. I didn't have to go any farther than this. I did not have to go any farther than this. I don't have to go to having no preference. I went to, I'm not the one who's saying it has a preference. Yeah. The preferences aren't doing shit. It's the idea of you. The one who has the preference is the block. Yes, seemingly. All right. You want to keep going with this? There's a couple more. You can jump out. I'll give you a B minus for the semester if you want to jump out now. Oh, all right. You want to keep going? Great. Make this, if you wish to see the truth, then hold no opinion for and against. The struggle of what one likes and what one, remember the one, the struggle of what one likes and what one dislikes is the disease of the mind. You can agree with that, yes? In AA, we called the dilemma of obsession itself as a disease, and it resides in the mind. So it captures this perfectly, yeah? So the struggle of what one likes and what one dislikes is the disease of the mind. Exactly. Yeah. And how are you going to lose interest in this battle between what you like and not like? Lose interest in the idea of a one who has the liking or the disliking. Yeah. It's the only way it worked. The only way faith mind kicked in for me was that. Yeah. Because I fail every paragraph, every little stanza. Yeah. If you go to every stanza, you fail. And it's your succeeding as having the opinions and this and that is the obstacle to what? The great way, which is the only way. All right. If you wish to see the truth, then hold no opinion for or against. The struggle of what one likes and what one dislikes is the disease of the mind. When the deep meaning of things, what is the deep meaning of things? They're empty. They're given meaning. They don't give anything meaning. When the deep meaning of things is not understood, the mind's essential peace is disturbed to no avail. What? Yeah. This is why people present the importance of duality. Yeah. And by seeing, if something was real, it would impose its reality on you. But isn't the experience of a subjective event is that you give everything all the meaning it has? If you're able to give anything and everything all the meaning it has, the thing mustn't have any meaning. Yeah. Because if it had an original meaning, it would impose that on you. But it seems like because of its nature of being empty, you can give it any meaning you want. Yeah. This happens in recovery. A lot of people have a story about the worst thing that ever happened to them. Yeah. And they've been carrying it and sharing with other people to hear their worst things. And then suddenly their mind starts to change in recovery, and they see that was the best thing that ever happened to them because that worst thing brought them to recovery. And now recovery is giving them a new and livelier life. So now the worst thing that ever happened suddenly turns into the best thing that ever happened. How could that happen if it wasn't empty? If it was the worst thing that had ever happened, it would stay the worst thing, don't you think? And to have such a transformation into the best thing would be amazing. But it was the way you saw it, yes? That gave it the meaning. This isn't a phenomenon. This is a principle. It's good to notice in your day. Yeah. All right. Let me go back. I'm getting jazzed up by reading it. Yeah. Let's go. When the deep meaning of things is not understood, he's always using this, not, yeah. So when the deep meaning of things is not understood, the mind's essential peace is disturbed to no avail. Okay. Exactly. The way is perfect like vast space, where nothing is lacking and nothing is in excess. Indeed, it is due to our choosing to accept or reject that we do not see the true nature of things. All right, there you go. Now, I'm giving you like the, what were those Swift notes, when you were in school? So you could
The
sort of
Cliff Notes.
cheat the test. What were they called?
The Cliff Notes.
Yeah, we're giving you the Cliff Notes of negation. Yeah. So, oh, it's beautiful. So you're not that, you are not who accepts or rejects. Yeah. The way is perfect like vast space where nothing is lacking and nothing is in excess. Indeed, it is due to our choosing to accept or reject. I don't believe that. I believe it's due to believing you're the one who accepts and rejects humbly. Yeah. And if you lose interest in being that one that accepts or rejects, accepting and rejection will lose a lot of meaning. Yes. And at that point, it's because of this that we do not see the true nature of things. So when you lose interest in it, you're going to see the true nature of things. Yes. And the true nature of things is everything is freaking empty, which would be dreaming, so to speak. Yeah. What? Not bad, eh? Live neither in entanglements of outer things, nor in some feelings of emptiness. So there's no there's no pillow for the head of man. You just got to see you're not the head. Live neither in entanglements. Have you ever tried this stuff? Have you? Have you lived with neither entanglements or of outer things, and then you're entangled with inner things, nor in inner feelings of emptiness? You can't win. If your move on the game board as the action figure is either this or that, you've just failed both ways. Get unentangled with the outer things, or inner feelings of emptiness. Be serene without striving. What? Be serene without striving. It doesn't say striving to be serene. It says be serene without striving. Try it. I bet you can. Beautiful. You're not that. You're not that which cannot stop striving. Fantastic, isn't it? So be serene without striving. Activity in the oneness of things. I think I got it wrong. It doesn't sound right Englishly. Be serene without striving activity, I guess. In the oneness of things, and such erroneous views will disappear by themselves. Wow. Yeah. How do they disappear by themselves? Not as you. Yeah. But seeing you're not you. They start disappearing by themselves, and they're not even necessary. They can keep appearing, but they don't have the influence they used to have. When you try to stop activity to achieve passivity, your very effort fills you with activity. You understood this, yeah? So when you try to stop activity to achieve passivity, your very effort fills you with activity. This is what we run into in recovery, which when it says you got to quit playing God, and you believe you're the one that's playing God, so you try to quit playing God, which is playing God. Every time you try to quit playing God, it's a form of playing God. Isn't that beautiful? As long as you remain in one extreme or the other, you will never know oneness. I don't believe you're going to know oneness anyway. I think you're being oneness. Yeah. Those who do not live in the single way fail in both activity and passivity, assertion and denial. Isn't that duality? Isn't that what we're speaking under is non-duality? So non-assertion and denial non-this, that, non-external, internal. This is all not two, yeah? He's going into two-ness of all these activities that the action figure is the representative of, yeah? And basically saying nothing's gonna freaking happen going this way and that way, yeah? So you try to be passive, that's an activity. The more you talk and think about it, the further astray you wander from the truth. Stop talking and thinking, and there is nothing you will not be able to know. To return to the root is to find the meaning, but to pursue appearances is to miss the source. You don't have far to go to the root. You're it, eh? You don't even have to return. You never left the root. See, this I don't agree with. It implies that you left something. I don't believe you've ever left what you are. I don't. So you don't need to return it. To return to the root is to find the meaning, but to pursue appearances is to miss the source. Yeah. At the moment of inner enlightenment, there is going beyond appearance and emptiness. The changes that appear to occur in the empty world we call real only because of our ignorance. Yes. Do not search for the truth, only cease holding opinions. We failed, man. Basically. We all got a D. Do not remain in the dualistic state. Avoid such pursuits carefully. Yeah. If there is a trace of this and that, the right and wrong, the mind essence will be lost in confusion. Yes? Seemingly. Although all dualities come from the one, do not be attached even to this one. When mind exists undisturbed in the way, nothing in the world can offend. And when a thing can no longer offend, it ceases to exist in the old way. Yeah? When no discriminating thoughts arise, the old mind ceases to exist. When thoughts objects vanish, the thinking subject vanishes. Check this out, yeah? When thought objects vanish, the thinking subject vanishes. So when you lose, let's say they're not going to vanish, but in a way of losing interest in it, it's a form of vanishing. When the thoughts are not prefaced with my thoughts, you're going to lose interest in them. Yeah? And it's going to weaken the idea of being the thinker. So when thought objects vanish, the thinking subject vanishes. And when the mind vanishes, objects vanish. Things are objects because of the subject. So basically, we're dreaming, yes? Things are objects because of the subject. As the Course in Miracles says, you and I are the dreaming of the dream, yes? We are the subjective event, and we are dreaming objects. Yeah. When thoughts objects vanish, the thinking subject vanishes. As when the mind vanishes, objects vanish. Things are objects because of the subject. The mind is such because of things. Yes? Understand the relativity of these two. Understand the relativity of these two and the basic reality, the unity of emptiness. In this emptiness, the two are indistinguishable, and each contains in itself the whole world. If you do not discriminate between coarse and fine, you will not be tempted to prejudice and opinion. To live in the great way is neither easy nor difficult. It's lighter, actually. But those with limited views are fearful and irresolute. The faster they hurry, the slower they go, and clinging cannot be limited. Even to be attached to the idea of enlightenment is to go astray. So this is freed from the need to be enlightened, yes? You're freed from the need to be liberated. That's the liberation. Obey the nature just let things be in their own way, and there will be neither coming nor going. Have you noticed when in the traveling lighter, you're letting things go their own way a lot more than before? And doesn't it seem like it goes a lot better? Wouldn't you say you're onto something? Yeah. Obey the nature of things, your own nature, and you will walk freely and undisturbed. When thought is in bondage, the truth is hidden. How is thought in bondage? Calling it my thought. And when it's in bondage to the my, you're at the effect of it. Yes? You own the thoughts can own you, just the way it goes. If you don't own the thoughts, they come and go. They meander, they do their own little thing. When thought is in bondage, the truth is hidden, for everything is murky and unclear, and the burdensome practice of judging brings annoyance and weariness. Yeah. When are they going to get it and do what I think they should do? That brings what benefit can be derived from distinctions and separations? If you wish to move in the one way, do not dislike even the world of senses and ideas. Indeed, to accept them fully is identical with true enlightenment. The wise man strives to know goals, but the foolish man fetters himself. There is one Dharma, truth, law, not many. Distinctions arise from the clinging needs of the ignorant. To seek mind with the discriminating mind is the greatest of all mistakes, obviously. Yeah. Rest and unrest derive from illusion. With enlightenment, there is no liking and disliking. All dualities come from ignorant inference. They are like dreams or flowers in the air. Foolish try to grasp them. Gain and loss, right and wrong, such thoughts must finally be abolished at once. If the eye never sleeps, all dreams will naturally cease. If the eye never sleeps, the eye, not these two, the eye of awareness. And I'm telling you, it never sleeps. So basically, all dreams will naturally cease. If the mind makes no discriminations, the 10,000 things are as they are, of single essence, empty. To understand the mystery of this one essence is to be released from all entanglements. When all things are seen equally, the timeless nature essence is reached. No comparisons or analogies are possible in this causeless, relationless state. Consider movement stationary and the stationary in motion, and both the state of movement and the state of rest disappear. When such duality cease to exist, oneness itself cannot exist. To this ultimate finality, no law or description applies. For the unified mind, in accord with the way, all self-centered striving ceases. Doubts and irresolutions vanish, and life in true faith is possible. With a single stroke, we are freed from bondage. Nothing clings to us, and we hold nothing. All is empty, clear, self-illuminating, with no exertion of the mind's power. Here, thought, feeling, knowledge, and imagination are of no value. Wow, we're getting over. Only two more. To come directly into, in this world of suchness, there is neither self nor other than self. Ooh, not bad, eh? To come directly into harmony with this reality, just simply say when doubts arise, not to. Or as we say, I'm not that. I mean, how much easier do you want it? To come directly into harmony with this reality, just simply say when doubts arise, not to. In this not to, nothing is separate, nothing is excluded. No matter when or where, enlightenment means entering this truth. And this truth is beyond extension or getting smaller in time or space. In it, a single thought is 10,000 years. Emptiness here, emptiness there, but the infinite universe stands, always before our eyes, infinitely large and infinitely small. No difference for definitions have vanished, and no boundaries are seen. So too with being and non-being. Don't waste time in doubts and arguments that have nothing to do with this. One thing, all things, move among and intermingle without distinction. To live in the realization is to be without anxiety about non-perfection. To live in this faith is the road to non-duality, because the non-dual is one with the trusting mind. Words, the way is beyond language, for in it there is no yesterday, no tomorrow, no today. Ah, nice, eh? So sometimes we talk in recovery, and here we talk about us as faith, actually, yes? And this such sutra is called faith mind. Yeah. So how does faith in the two occur here? It's the ideation of the imaginary one. Yes. The idea of being a unique, terminal, long-lasting, independent, separate thing. That's what gives birth to the two-ness of duality. Yes. Because the oneness we're looking through isn't one. Yeah. This is a lens that has two optics, this or that, yes or no. That's why we failed this test. We're made of preferences. Yeah. Thoughts go on unbidden by us. Yeah. We have opinions and judgments and all this shit going on. To hear this as the one, the only possibility is you got to stop doing all this shit that you're actually not doing. And in the failure of that, you'll recognize maybe you're not that. Yeah. You're not that who has a preference. So preferences will go and won't mean as much as they used to. Yeah. Or you're not that who has the opinions. So then maybe opinions will be held much more lightly. Yes. Yes. This is the beauty of this message. The first test is you start become self-aware. Yeah. And it leads to the second test where we always fail. Yeah. And then the second test is the true success of non-duality, because realizing I cannot give up preferences. I don't seem to control any preference switch or anything. Yeah. Is because, and then seeing that dead end, I recognize I'm not that which can't get rid of preferences. Yes. Don't you see? The preferences trump you. They stop you. The card game stops for a second. And it's the day of reckoning where the thing that wants to win admits it's the loser. Yeah. And you see it. You see it from what you truly are. Yeah. And what you truly are isn't that which holds preferences. It doesn't. Yeah. So this beautiful thing is almost like a weird whistle that brings out all our misunderstandings, yeah, that fuel all this hope that one day I'm going to give up all my preferences and just admit fucking complete defeat. And then it's hallelujah, because that which wants to give up preferences and can't seem to give up preferences is not you. Fantastic. You brought it out. You saw it. Yeah. You're so clear about what you're not as the objective self, but you may not be clear about what you're not as the subjective self. Yeah. And now we brought out the subjective self and looked at its objects of failure and then recognizing we're not that. Yes. So at that point, the great way is not difficult. Yeah. It's the open secret. It's the gateless gate. Yeah. Well, so didn't you hear it? There seemed to be a requirement. You have to give up all preferences. You failed. All right, I'm going to give a month. Come back with no preferences. I'll give you another month because I like you. You're going to fail, aren't you? Give me a break. Are you going to? The idea of calling me when you have no thought is a thought. Yeah. So basically, it's just no way. He can't. This thing is jury rigged. You're meant to fail. Not the hearing of this, but the hearer of it is meant to fail. And the hearing of it is meant to bring out the hearer of it so that maybe you can recognize it as not you. Yes? I think it does a beautiful job. And it's easy, it's a couple of pages. Just take one stanza. Yeah. You'll fail, and then in a second or two, it'll be a hallelujah, because you'll see you're not that which that has the preferences, and because you're not that which is going to lose the preferences. I love it. So, anybody wants to share or whatever? Again, if you want this, you can get it any on, the internet. Just look under, there's different translations, but Richard Clark, Faith Mind, attributed to like the third patriarch of Zen, supposedly. It was one of the first things I got introduced to. I thought it was like, yeah. All right, anyone? No? Oh, great.
I think that also reminds me of what Shakespeare said. It's like nothing can trouble you except in your own imagination or something.
Yeah, but things are gonna trouble you, but you're not that which is getting troubled. I think that even works better, because you cannot believe if someone's walking around never troubled, if you could see his sphincter muscle, it's very tight. Literally. The action figure gets rubbed the wrong way here. In a lot of conditions. I think it's much more efficient just to allow that to come up, the ownership, and say you're not the owner. Yeah. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you mean it or not, it's actually the truth. So it's going to have its own juice. Yeah. It may look like another gamble to get out of something, but lo and behold, you hit eureka, you hit the pot. You've been betting that roulette thing 36 black, and it finally is on 36 black. You're not that. I haven't left that point for years and years and years. Yeah. Every time I became another that, there was more thatting to go. But it was very, very the end when the not that was very, very clean. And it put like an exclamation with like 8 periods. Yeah. Yeah. Becoming another that just adds more that. Yeah. But not that actually puts an end to a lot of stuff. Yeah. And then your interest is going to enrich your day. Yeah, it's not your interest, their interest. Yeah, it's going to enrich your day instead of enslaving your day. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Paul. Yeah, it wasn't super.
Yeah. Who was that just said was talking? Oh, I jumped on it. Yeah. See, there's a weird thing where the head, armed with non-duality, will try to do more subtle moves than, let's say, anointing the feet and walking around the statue. But it gets subtle, but the same activity is going on. Yes. So, but I feel no matter how many times the jack comes up, you know what box it comes from. Yeah. And it's not of you. Yeah. Yeah. The jack loves it when it becomes the jack, not the jack in the box. But if you don't buy the jack, you'll see the box pretty clearly. And how it just gets triggered and bounces out again. Yeah. And just, this thing isn't a thing you, whatever. Maybe you'll say, I'm not that every once in a while. But basically, it becomes a moot point. It's more of a recognition without repeating. Yes. It's a recognition that doesn't need repeating after a while. Yeah. I'm not walking around underneath my breath, not that all day. When I'm on the bus, people aren't looking at me suspiciously when I'm mumbling to myself. I used it as a way to allow some idea to galvanize in me early on. Yeah. But then the who would have thought it was the last answer in this case? I had never really found a last answer. I thought death was going to be the last answer. And ran into this and in a very important topic, because I was always looking for something to have it completely ended. This is worthy of the title of The Last Answer, yeah, which is an incredible answer because there's no need for any other answer. That's never occurred with all the other answers I've heard. This one has a certain quality that's supreme in a way. Yeah. Yeah. But I like the thing of faith mind because that's rooted a lot in recovery, and I come from that community. And in that we have a book in recovery called The Big Book, and a lot of parts of it get very emphasized and other parts don't get so much emphasized. And in this book, this is supposedly from, I'm going to read a little. It's gotten pigeonholed only for addicts or alcoholics. It probably would be helpful to most characters. But in this page, listen to this. This is he's talking about all these people who have all these ideas that are keeping them from getting the help they need with, running wild addiction and alcoholism. Yeah. And so he says, but let us think a little more closely. Without knowing it, and this is important because most of the shit that happens is without us knowing it. We're really on a long time delay in a sense. So it goes, without knowing it, had we not been brought to where we stood, and they're talking about a not so comfortable place, yes? Like trying to live in a room with the elephant being denied. Yeah. You're looking to blame everyone else because you don't want to see the elephant and stuff. So without knowing it, had we not been brought to where we stood by a certain kind of faith. Now we just heard faith mind, and he's talking right now that faith brought us, all of us, to where we stand at this moment. What? For did we not believe in our own reasoning? Did we not have confidence in our ability to think? What was that but a sort of faith? Yes, we had been faithful, abjectly faithful. And someone in the meeting looked up abjectly, and it's like powerless servility. Yeah. Oh no, it's spiritless servility. Isn't it incredible? Spiritless servility. We call it the bondage of self, the bondage of the head. Yeah. What was that but a sort of faith? Yes, we had been faithful, abjectly faithful to the God of reason. So we've been listening to the head with such a faith that we're in spiritless servility. Wow. That's incredible. So in one way or another, this is coming from a book called The Big Book of Recovery. So in one way or another, we discovered that faith had been involved all the time. What? Is right now captured by the statement all the time? Yes. The feeling of now has a feeling of time in it, and every mental now has a feeling of time, and it says every time, at all times, faith has a lot to do with what's going on. Have you ever sensed that? Before your Bill or Paul or Jimmy or Sue, your faith. Yeah. And what your faith is put into, it's not yours, but what the faith that you represent is going to manifest here in the vehicle you put it in. And I have been at the effect of faith in the head in a life of addiction. Yeah. The spiritual addiction, drug addiction. Yeah. Excitement addiction, rush addiction. Yeah. Faith. I put my faith in things with the hopes that they would allow me to transcend. They couldn't, because you cannot leave an imaginary place. Yeah. My faith, by whatever happened in this life, has been shifted from the head to something else. And the difference we call here traveling lighter. Yeah. So instead of the faith putting me into a spiritless servility, it's now enriching my day. Same faith. What's directing it? Yeah. Is it the great way or is it the head? Yeah. You're not on the way. You're the way you get pushed. That's the great way. And to me, it's faith. It's either faith in the head or loss of faith in the head. Yeah. So, and it's so beautiful because this little sutra is called Faith Mind. Yeah. Faith in Big M Mind is what we call in AA trusting the infinite. Yeah. And we say, perhaps there's a better way. Instead of trusting finite self, we trust the infinite. Now, they make it a dualistic contrast. So finite self and the infinite are completely different, but trust is in both statements. So we are the trust that's in both statements. Some of us have had the experience of what trust in finite self looks like, and some of us are in the experience of what faith or trust in the infinite looks like. Yeah. And I'll tell you, one is the lighter way than the other. Yeah. Yeah. And what we say here is traveling lighter, basically. What fuel are you going to travel lighter on? Faith. Yeah. Can that faith build something or can it burn it down? It matters what you put it in. Yeah. If you put it in the head, the molehills of the head will look like mountains. Yeah. You will. And you'll be taking the head will be acting like or playing God. And you'll be the demonstration of that playing God. And you may end up in places you never could have imagined, like pitiful, incomprehensible, totally demoralizing conditions. Yeah. All brought to you by faith. Yeah. So if you think you can turn anything over, why not the faith? The faith that has been put into the head. Yeah, if you believe you can turn it over, why not turn it over to the infinite? Yes. Or at least make a decision or, yeah. All right. So anyone else? Faith is a force. Don't you feel it? It's like gravity. Do you know gravity? You're under its influence all the day, but usually when you feel gravity, you blame it on the hill that you were climbing or the stairs you were taking, but it's gravity, yes? And people, you can go to a seminar about gravity and yap and yap and yap and yap, but because you're always under its influence, you don't know it. So how can you learn about gravity is going into an anti-gravity chamber. When you're relieved of its influences, you'll know it by its absence. And this is exactly what we're saying. You're going to know self by its absence. It's not you. Yeah. So go into anti-gravity. You'll know the influence of gravity. Yes, you will. You'll be able to recognize them. And you'll stop talking about the hill and the staircase because it has nothing to do with the hill, really. You're moving against a force. The force isn't looking for you. You're moving in its field. If you try to go up, you feel it. If you try to go deep in the water, you feel it. It's fucking the pressure. So, all right. Well, anyone else, or we'll just close up shop today? The cat has been looking at me like fucking unbelievable to get in the house. Jesus, if the cat knew, it would love to turn its life here to the infinite and not have its coming in and out based on me. Because we don't have a cat door. It's not happy with me playing God, I'm telling you. And I don't like the job anyway. Yeah, just staring at me for 40 minutes. Yeah. Here it is, right here. Hey, hey, that's him. That's him. There you go. She very rarely gets seen by others. Yeah. All right, no one? All right, so did you like the reading today? Give me an up. Yes? Good?
Enjoyed it. Yes.
That
Oh,
was
good.
very insightful. That was really good. It feels like there's um there's only life or something, like there's nobody that lives a life. Well, I don't
That's
know.
right.
Feels
That's,
like
yes.
I mean I catch this what you say because I see it inside of me. I see it in myself, like trying to get out, grasping, like get out of the, like whatever the things I do, I always end up in the same place because I guess part of it because of the, I guess, the conditioning in the background, like being a Catholic, and then try to be getting to, you know, to rejuvenize, I guess, like kind of airing souls, like trying to be better, to be better.
Yes.
And I see that in myself, but I don't know.
That's
I
great. That's incredibly valuable. And if you hear it here, you can save some time. You don't have to go as, hit as many walls as many of us have hit. Yeah. It's a failed. You can't get out of what you're not in. It's impossible. I cannot get back to that which I've never left. It's impossible. This is why our belief is that we've left, and then we're trying to get back, and we have failure after failure, and we're not reading the tea leaves correctly. We just think it means I got to do more or harder or more surgically clearer or laser-like focus. But it's telling you the failure is the success. You just described it. You're not going to get it. Great. Yeah. Because there's a very, very big chance you are it. Which you're never going to figure out by trying to get it. Yeah, it just doesn't work. So, this is very relieving, the non-duality. It disarms you. And then you'll see the habit of picking up arms. Yeah. You just will, nakedly. You get disarmed, and in 5 seconds, it wants to pick up an arms, yeah? And then it just can't help itself, the system, and you'll see it. And you'll see it as mechanical. It's not personal. Yeah. It's got this personal syrup it pours on the mechanical gears, but it's not. You're not doing the shit you think you're doing.
The cell thing is continuous, right? It's like a vibration almost. It keeps going.
It's not continuous. There's a lot of gaps in it, but it covers up those gaps quickly by saying I was the one that was doing it or whatever. Yeah. No, it's not continuous. It's pretty. It has it's there a lot, but it's not really. There's a lot of big gaps. But again, it bridges those gaps by with like the statement in recovery without knowing it. Yeah. So we're basically.
When they talk about the space between two thoughts in mystical literature, that's like a gap.
Well, it's actually not. It's the complete, to me, it's the all and everywhere background, and the thoughts are just appearing on that empty background. Yeah, I don't think there's thought real, pause real, thought real. I think the thoughts are unreal, like bubbles hitting and then there's the space of what's holding the thoughts is the reality. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't see it as there's a pause between thoughts. There is a pause in time, but the thoughts, that little pause is in a space that's everywhere at all times. Yeah. So the thoughts, in other words, if you looked at it sideways, you would see the bubble of the thought is on a surface, so to speak. Yeah, almost like a bubble on a screen in a movie. Yeah. Yeah. But it's not a screen, so the bubble is appearing in the background. Yeah, but that it's only an appearance. The background is everything, so to speak. Yeah, yeah. So when there's thought, the attention goes there, and then there's a break, and then you're just gazing in space. Then there's attention goes to thought, then gazing in space. Different thought, same space, different thought, same space. But basically, all there is the space, yes? Yeah, you notice it when the attention leaves the thought, but it doesn't mean there's a real thought and then there's space and then there's thought. There's just appearances of thoughts in space. Yeah. 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 After a while, it's like if we walk into when I used to go to school, there would be a huge chalkboard, a big black space. And then if someone just put a dot of chalk, your attention would go right to that dot. In other words, there was the space of the chalkboard, and then you would shrink right to the dot of the chalk. That isn't verb, that isn't choice, that's mechanical, yeah? So the head likes to go to a thing at the expense of the space that it's appearing in, yeah? It's just a habit, it's not you. So you start seeing it. Because if you believe there's thought and then there's a pause, they're almost like on equal terms, which is not the case, yes? Yeah. The pause is always available at all times. Yeah. All right, is that okay?
And Paul, you once, when we were talking, described that habitual tendency as almost like a bag of air. Like you know, that you would play into, what are those instruments that play the bagpipes, you know? You said it was like a bag of air, and there's a you know, we each have whatever our capacity is. It's like for seeing the dominoes fall and watching those tendencies.
Well, one time, the man we were just speaking before us already recognized that he was seeing the futility of trying to get somewhere. Yeah, but that would just promote frustration because the getting somewhere was still valid. We're saying you can't get to where you already are. We're invalidating the getting somewhere. Yeah. Yeah.
But the tendency, the seeking tendency that keeps arising, like
Yeah,
it
sure.
just keeps being witnessed.
It's gonna weaken and weaken.
Yeah,
It
that's
does.
what you described as like a bag of air. That
Yeah,
tendency.
yeah. It gets more and less, and the less air, the shape of and how it looks is different. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's inevitable. Finite processes aren't going to outlast the infinite. It's
For
just
sure.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in a good position, because you remember that statement from Christianity, I think, this too shall pass. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and I, as what we are, doesn't, but everything else will pass. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
not bad. Why are you
And
trying to rush things along? Yeah. Yeah.
it reminds me of you know, when you said, you know, you can't produce stillness with effort or whatever, that would be agitation.
Yes, that's right out.
Yeah.
It's right from the faith mind.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was thinking of when you said that. Yeah.
Same thing with the Course in Miracles. With you're planning on doing something, but that implies there's time and there's a doer. You don't see. It's not what you're planning and what the something is. It's the whole idea of hoping and dreaming for a condition that's not seemingly available now. Yeah, when our condition is always available at all times. This is the dilemma of the fueling of seeking. Yes, there's an implication in it already that's bogus. Yes. So if the seeker and the sought, if you look at it, so we would be termed the seeker, and there's been a lot of things we have sought in life. Yeah. And they've been different things. Some of us have sought only one thing, but most people are in the act of seeking a lot of things. Yeah. So the seeker stays the same, remains the same. Yeah. And there's the seeking, but the sought, yeah, is different. So the objects are different. Yeah. But the pseudo subject's always the same, and it's the same verb, seeking. Yeah. And then you hear the statement change, which is the seeker is the sought. Yeah. Which just compresses it all now. Yeah. So now the seeker is what the seeking is trying to arrive at as the sought. So basically, your arrival point is where you you're actually trying to depart from. Yeah. So you are the sort already. Yeah. So what's going to show the effect of that understanding is seeking is going to diminish, obviously. Or you'll be seeking things that you can actually find, like a job or a sandwich or pumpkin pie. Yeah. You're going to lose interest in the seeking of the sort. Yeah. Because to seek this, what you're seeking is the sort. Yeah. You are that which is seeking is the sort. So you're using the sort to seek the sort. Yes. Yeah. Sit with that. You see the insanity of the mental logic. It's truly insane. If you could have a comparison to it, you would see the insanity of it. When you're just devotedly or spiritlessly in servitude to it, it makes fucking sense.
Yeah.
But if you could see the mental logic from another logic, you'll see the insanity of it like that. It's not like I'm going to have to really study it. You're going to see it super fast because it's fucking crazy. Yeah. So I'm the sort, but it's going to be, but I'm looking for the 2027 model, and I want to have this and this change, and no, you know, so I am the sort, but it's not exactly the way I want it. So I'm in the seeking of a specialized, yes, it goes on and on and on. But the seeker is the sort. What? Wow. Then you recognize there's going to be seeking. That doesn't get the message. The head does not get the message the seeker is the sort. It doesn't. It frustrates it. Yeah. Because to it, it has a biography of the sort, and it's definitely not what it's seeking. It's using that to sort, to seek the sort. It's definitely not the sort. So what fuels the seeking is the idea that we're this. Yeah. Yes. If you lose interest in that idea, the seeker is the sort. Wow. We've opened up the can 800 times today. Eh? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Paul.
Yeah. You got to come out. It's a bean. A
I had never gone
can of beans.
A Course in Miracles. It was never a rabbit hole I had gone down. And the other day it just kind of found me, and they were talking about the lack, the lack. And again, I'm a baby. I don't know the language of the Course in Miracles, but they were talking about that the sense of lack as
Yes, that's
the
all
driving factor.
just like the sense of individuality, just like the sense of free will. It's manufactured. Anything goes in dreaming. Yeah. Anything can go in dreaming, anything can happen. Yeah. But dreaming has one quality that this moment has that it doesn't have this one quality, which is it's happening. Right now, there is the what is that's happening. Yeah, the I am. Yeah. In dreaming, you're going to be destitute. Yeah. And if you have faith in that, you're going to act as if you're going to act like what you think destitution would be, because you're not in destitution. So you got to make it up, and the head will make it up. And yeah, there was an old Zen group in New York. It was an interesting idea, but they would have a 7-day retreat, and you would be homeless for those 7 days. And you would live in New York in the Bowery and shit like that. But they knew the 8th day they had a place to go. So that would alter the experience of being homeless if you knew there was a time limitation. The part of homelessness is you're always going to be fucking homeless. This is the choir of suffering that sings in your head that you can't manufacture in a contrived control thing. Yeah. So people who are afraid of destitution are not in destitution. There's a fear of it. Yeah. You would be completely different if you were in destitution. First of all, it would be normal in a sense to you, and you'd be doing your fucking shit to get food stamps and get the earliest bed near the window at the shelter, and you'd be all business on that level. You would. And then in that level, you're afraid of something else. Yeah, you're not afraid of destitution. You're in destitution. You're afraid of something else now. Yes, this is how a controlled environment is still going to breed. It's just, yes, it doesn't work. Yeah, yeah. So we're going to have a week-long homeless retreat. It's going to be in the Bowery. And on the 8th day, we'll be at the Ambassador Hotel up on near Central Park. Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. No. This is a subjective experience, yes? You don't know how crazy someone could be right now. You know. Spiritless servility drives the action figure to do a lot of shit. Yeah. Yes. All right. I'm stoked today. Tired now though. All right.
Thank you, Paul.
Yes. You know, we're all in this together. You know, we're in a thing called ZenBitchSlap.com. We come to these Zooms. Yeah. And I have to admit, in this action figure life, understanding's had a huge role in this life. Yeah. Understanding works where I'm sitting. I mean, when I first got sober, I had no idea what was going on. Yeah. And a lot of the people I was meeting had no idea what was going on. And there was this thing we did, which was an inventory on some manifestations, common ones that had defeated us, which were categorized as resentment, fear, and, harming people in the pursuit of what I wanted, like selfish acts. And we were going to look at that, do an inventory, and see our role in all that. And I could not see my role in it when I first tried. I couldn't. I hated Wendy because she left me. It affected all these conditions, instinctual drives, and I didn't see what was my role in it. I thought it was all on her. But then I went to see these old dudes that used to travel around America, around the world. Their names were Joe and Charlie, and they put this simple seminar out about the Big Book of Recovery. And I went there, like I was about 6 months sober. I went there, and their understanding of how they translated a book just set off tons of lights, man. And I got my role in things, and I ran back to the motel I was there at, and I did an inventory, and I saw, where was I, and where am I being selfish, inconsiderate, dishonest, and self-seeking and frightened concerning Wendy? Saw it. And then just names were just rolling out. And that led to me to see that taking responsibility for my role in things, I saw something else's role in things, which is we call self. Yeah. So I saw what had defeated me. Yeah. And all these things I had guilt and shame about doing, I realized I wasn't the doer of. And I got a huge fucking vacuum of relief and acceptance. Yeah. Yeah. It was amazing. And it was triggered by simple understandings. And to me, the simplest understanding is non-duality. It's basically saying this is the starting point, and it's always the point, being ourselves reality. Yeah. The greatest mystery is reality, being us, wanting to attain reality. Yeah. and the logic of non-duality and its answers follow that statement perfectly. Yeah. 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 You are what you're looking for. Now, no requirements necessary to be it. You're in the functionality of being it all the time. It's not like you haven't been being it and then you're going to start being it. You've never not been being it. Yeah. This is how it hits you. You realize all that you've been buried under, this no idea of I am, all that we've been buried under can be seen through. Yeah, it's our belief that it's opaque is allowing us to act like we're blind. Non-duality explains stuff so that you can see through things. Yeah. And you will be brought or come to being convinced of a lot of stuff that you were trying to be convinced of, you were hope was right, you were this and that. It'll bring a lot of ends to things, which is a huge new beginning, really, literally. Yeah. And to me, it's the basis of traveling lighter. All right. So, Mary, nice to see you. Either you're in the woods or it's a nice background. It's pretty good. John, Florida, my amigo down in Florida. You're a lifetime member of Zen Bitch Slap, John. Just want to inform you. Maro, David Lowe, always a pleasure to see David. Kerry D. Carried. Oh, you don't know what it's like to be carried, man. Yeah, it's an experience. David and Natalie. Yeah. David, yes, nice to see you. We had Miak. Pleasure. Judy Lovins. Yeah. Keith. Nice to see you, Keith. Susan, as always. It feels a little like Cape Cod here. It's very fallish in Novato. Eric and Vista, Michael, Stacy, Ernie, Alan. Always a pleasure, Alan. I think we got everyone. It's okay. Thanks. Had a lovely time today. I'll see you soon. Tomorrow is at night, 7 o'clock Pacific time. Yep. See you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Good night, Paul.